Welcome to the Tradies in Business podcast with your hosts Warwick Bidwell and Nicole Cox. Divert your phone and grab a brew as Waz and Nick unpack tips, tales, secrets and stuff-ups from guests both inside and outside your trade, helping educate and inspire you to break the cycle of gut-busting and money stress and create a true trade business.
G'day, listeners.
Hello, listeners.
Did you like my Aussie? G'day, listeners.
Was I not very clear?
You were very clear, but I was very Aussie. Just all the words get jammed up together in g'day, listeners.
It is very much. And before we jumped on air, we were talking about the pronunciation of somebody's name. I said, "You are the king." You and the builder are both very good at pronunciation. But I mistakenly actually said enunciation, which is something that I learnt a lot about in theatre school.
Yes.
Enunciating your words clearly so that they don't sound like the rubbish that just came out of your mouth.
You need to round your vowels.
Yes. Apparently you will laugh at me when I speak proper English.
Proper English. Unlike the Aussie that I often speak, especially around my farm.
The twang. I'm not good at the twang, although I can bust it out if I need to. It's just not my preferred way to speak.
No. There's a bit of twanging going on down here in Tasmania in the
dueling bando.
Yeah. I was thinking about the speech. But as I said it, I thought, oh yeah,
That's it.
How are you, listeners? What's happening in your part of the Southern Hemisphere? And g'day to our Northern Hemisphere listeners as well.
We do have a few all over the world, actually.
Yes.
We have an unusual amount in Asian countries. Still blows me away. Perhaps they enjoy our accent. Maybe my enunciation of words should change to suit our audience. We have quite a few in the UK. Actually, there's quite a bit in the UK. We have some in Germany. We do have some in Holland. Hi, family. I know you all listen to me. I love that you care about us. But some of the Germany, I'm sure I've seen some stats from Germany and some other European countries where we have a very vast and wide audience.
We do. And we even had someone reach out to us from Ireland.
We did. You're not allowed to do the accent.
I won't, because I would offend the Irish by doing an Irish accent.
Absolutely no doubt that you could do that and do it well, as a matter of fact.
I'll continue to speak in my Tassie twang.
With your twang.
Anyway, today, listeners, is, as you could guess, probably another unplanned, unscripted episode of Tradies in Business podcast. How are you? Hopefully you are finding some time to take a break from madness and worry and fear and all those things that seem to be flying around the world in large volumes at the moment. And Coxie,
yes,
we kind of silently passed a milestone recently here at the Tradies in Business podcast. Just accidentally recorded our 500th episode yesterday.
Pretty darn impressive, isn't it?
Yeah. And I only noticed because I was creating the content and the copy for yesterday's episode, and I looked at the episode number down the side and went, oh, we just did our 500th episode here on the show. And it just kind of happened.
With all the fanfare that goes with it. We had no fanfare. We didn't even know. So we're going to celebrate today instead.
Oh, what are we doing to celebrate?
I don't know. Talking to our beautiful listeners on the podcast.
By doing another episode.
Yes. About the fact that we've turned 500 episodes old. It's pretty impressive. You've done every single one of those episodes. Did you ever miss one with your previous co-host?
I don't know. I may have. I'd have to go back and check, Nicole, but I may have actually done every single one of those 500 episodes.
Wow. I'm not there yet. As long-time listeners will know.
Yeah.
Came in about 200 and what did you say? 220 odd episodes ago?
Yeah, well, you did a couple of cameos and guest appearances before we launched the new season, which is this current version of the podcast, Tradies in Business. So we're over 230 now, you and I, Coxie.
Wow, I'm feeling old.
Even that feels a bit tedious, doesn't it?
Some days, yeah.
So, and I'm always impressed by those of you out there listening that occasionally do get in touch and we have the awesome opportunity to chat with you about your business or get some feedback from you on socials. And you say things like, I've listened to every single episode and I feel really sorry for you.
I feel a bit mind blown. I love that. People take us into their own space and they're happy to listen to us. For the most part, I'm sure it's very informative, but occasionally I feel like it's all waffle and no meat.
All sauce and no sausage.
Yes, no sausage here. So I just feel thrilled that it gives me it fills me with excitement to think that people continue to listen to us. And not only do they continue to listen, they then actively seek out all the previous episodes that aren't as easy to find anymore.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yes, it is odd, and it's always been strange at my local gym when I joined, which was just last year actually, and filled out my profile on the computer screen thingy where you log on when you go into the gym. Yes, it's a CrossFit based setup, so they still have that same sort of thing with the whiteboard and your name pops up on the screen if you've signed into the class. And my profile pic was just one that I found on my phone of me being an idiot with an orange-covered microphone. And Coxie's familiar with that photo. And so a few people have obviously gone and stalked me online and found that I'm a podcast co-host, and are a little bit, especially the younger crew, are a little bit, I won't say starstruck, that's a bit wanky, but there's that little low-level, ooh, you're a podcaster.
Yes.
Kind of thing, It's like, oh, you've been on Triple M regularly kind of thing. Not that either of us have.
Not Triple M, no.
No.
We're not that cool.
No. We were in was it the Courier Mail or the Sunday Mail recently?
Sunday Mail?
Sunday Mail.
We had the Courier Mail last year, and we've done some TV and we've done some radio. We've done a fair bit.
Yep.
We've been very blessed with the
That's been on
opportunities.
ABC.
Had.
So, doing the whole podcasting, it's just become very normal for me. And, the microphone is permanently in front of my face.
All day, every
here
day.
in the office. And I just get very used to it. But I think for other people, it's not the norm. And that's probably a good reminder for me, Coxie, just to remember that this is not normal for someone to have a podcast. And I feel a level of responsibility about the content we create. And I would just like to say that I acknowledge some of our episodes have been complete trollop. Very little value other than entertainment and hopefully a giggle. But every time I press record and we now get the security warning that this meeting is being recorded, I think, ooh, people are going to be listening to this.
It's a strange concept, actually, isn't it? That people resonate enough with our ideas, thoughts, values, feelings that they are prepared to listen repeatedly to what we have to say. It blows my mind. And I know that we do have amazing guests. It's not something we put together on our own. We are very selective listeners about who we get on the show. We must get pitched, would you say 2 to 3 times a week by various businesses or organizations or people that would like to feature on our show.
Authors.
Given that it is Australia's longest trade business podcast, longest running, you can understand we get some pretty amazing people pitches, but they're not always right for our listeners. They're not always, their messaging isn't always aligned with where we're at. So we do quite a robust job of vetting those volunteers, I suppose, because we want to make sure that we bring the best of the best and the most relevant to you. We've had plenty of subsidiary businesses that serve trade business owners that we actually feel don't bring you the value that you need within your business. And so we say no. I'm about to blow myself up here again with my overnight blood pressure monitor. So now I can't think or talk.
You're being tracked, Nicole.
I'm being tracked.
Yes, well, I'd like to say thanks, as we have in the past at some of these arbitrary milestones, but I'd like to thank you for tuning in, listeners, and supporting the show. I mean, if you don't listen, we wouldn't keep creating the content.
No.
And it's also why we often ask you for reviews or to keep in touch with us, because we do this for you, not for us. We want to add value to your lives, and it's something that lots of marketing people and even our own coach and other mentors have commented on the fact that holy wowzer, you guys give a lot of stuff away and do amazing stuff through the podcast, especially for trade business owners. And that's really what drives Coxie and I. It's why I'm still here at the microphone after 500 episodes, is the hope that what we do here makes a difference. So I've asked many times, many different ways over the years, and I'm going to ask you again today, listeners, do something for Coxie and I, and just let us know if the show, if the podcast has made a difference to your life as a trade business owner. Or if you're a non-trade business owner listening, because there's a there's a possibility that you're not a trade business owner listening to this podcast. But just drop us a little message or leave us a review on iTunes or something. Hit us on our socials. You could even email us at hello@Tradies In Business, blah, blah, which you can find on our website. Drop us a web form, whatever you like. And just let us know. Has the podcast made a difference to you? We'd love to hear from you just for our 500th episode.
We would also like to know what you'd like us to cover.
Yeah.
We do a lot of thinking for you, and I'm not always sure that's the right thing to do.
Assumptions.
And you're still listening, so something's going okay. I would like very much, though, to know if we're on the right track. Are we hitting up the stuff that you want to hear? We do get quite a bit of feedback on particular episodes. And I feel there's an opportunity here to serve you even more with various topics that are important to you in your business. Now, we may have covered it. Chances are over 500 episodes, there's not much we haven't covered. And yet, as we grow and learn, our perspective refines or changes or comes from a different lens or a different angle. Great opportunity for us to revisit those as well. So if you have particular topics you would like us to cover, you can hit us up and we will jump to your attention and deliver immediately for you, or close to immediately anyway.
As quickly as we can muster.
As quickly as we can muster. It's a good opportunity to get what you need. It's like a choose your own adventure.
Yeah, a customized, personalized podcast.
Did you read choose your own adventure books when you were a young fellow?
I did.
They probably weren't around yet. I'm sure they were invented a bit after you were a young fellow.
Well, it took a long time to type them on the old typewriter.
I had an old typewriter.
I learned typing on a typewriter.
Me too.
There wasn't computers when I was a boy. But anywho, now it sounds like I've done 5,000 episodes, not 500.
Oh, we're not
that old. Come on, I was doing front flips on the trampoline at the trampoline center on the weekend, so I can't be that old.
And I don't know what the young cool ladies do, but I guarantee I wasn't doing it. I did think about it though. Maybe that would be helpful.
Well, we didn't talk about.
Maybe that stands me in good stead. I put on a nice frock and I had a lovely cocktail. I went out for dinner. Maybe I am cool without even knowing it.
You're only as old as the crusty old person in bed next to you.
Well, mine's younger than me, as is yours, actually.
There you go. So you're quite young there.
Very young. We are. You're substantially younger than I am.
Thanks for giving that away. So we did not talk about the topic that we thought we'd talk about today, thanks to Waffly Was. I'm taking some waffle liberty today for, it's actually our 501st episode, technically speaking.
We're allowed to.
So there's some waffle for your listeners, and we might do a more structured episode about something, I don't know, related to getting better results in life and business in tomorrow's episode.
Maybe we can talk about longevity like we were going to talk about today.
Ooh, getting old, yeah. Good idea. Let's go plan for that.
Well, we don't do well with a plan though, Warwick.
Well, we've done 500 episodes. We should try something different now.
Maybe we should. Maybe now is the time. I'm really keen. I hope we get some feedback off this one. It actually takes it particularly Warwick because he does all of the editing, he does all of the uploading, he does all of the copywriting around the episodes with the show notes, etc. It's actually very time consuming. It takes a fair bit of time for us on a daily basis to record the podcast and upload, even weekly when we look back what feels like a long time ago now, doing them weekly. It's a lot of work, and I'd love to hear from you. Some words of perspective. Tell us what your perspective is. Does it work for you? What do you like? What don't you like? We've had some great feedback over the years about our Chucky Norris's, and more good than bad. So we continue to Chucky Norris every episode. But some feedback would be great because it helps. We get to feed off you then. And that's really important for maintaining our energy levels around putting this up. And I would just like to finish today's episode by saying thank you to our listeners, but most importantly, thank you to Warwick for continuing to drive the podcast to be what it is. I don't think that we would continue to do it if it was up to me. I'd get lazy and think, no, surely nobody listens to us. But he has faith and he brings it to the table in spades. And it's because of him that we are still here in your ear holes. Thank you, Warwick. And thank you for asking me 232 episodes ago to be your new co-host. I really enjoy it. It's lots of fun.
Look where we are now. You're stuck with me as your business partner as well.
I don't think there's any getting away with it now.
Thanks, Coxie. And thanks to you listeners for making this a show that actually continues to run. And as Coxie said, if you've got something out of the show, I'd love it if you could give a little bit back to us and just give us some feedback on what you want, what you don't want, what's worked for you. Have you got some value out of it? Has it made a difference to you? Just give us something. Anything, please. Just something. Because my bum's getting really sore after 500 episodes in front of this microphone.
Oh, yeah. I'm looking forward to the day we can do some live ones, which has been our aim for such a long time now.
I've always wanted to do an OB, an outside broadcast, a live OB.
It's you in the technical terms. You're all over that stuff, aren't you?
I'm a closet DJ. Just want to have my own radio show.
You're a closet something.
All right. Well, I'm going to take my flano and go and edit this episode and prepare for the next one.
Thanks for listening.
Hooroo.
You've been listening to the Tradies in Business podcast with Warwick Bidwell and Nicole Cox. Find out more about today's guest, tools for your trade business, and other cool stuff at tradiesinbusiness.com.au.